There we go. That's pretty solid. So I'm gonna cut this in half. It's 22 1/4 inches. That thing's 11 1/4 inches. So I'm gonna cut this at 11 1/8. We're gonna see how this goes. Alright, there we go. Yep. 22 1/2 actually. Let's go 11 1/4. It's gonna take a second. Almost forgot. Don't forget your safety wear. Love this angle grinder. Same brand as all the other stuff I have, the circular saw and the drill. But this thing loves to eat batteries. That's the one for my drill. The one for my circular saw is already on the charger because it's already ate it up. That cut is not straight at all, but guess what? It's going inside a wood stove, so it'll work. If only I can get this thing cut in half. We'll see what happens. Just about through it. Man, this thing's power hungry. Look at there. Yep, let's test fit this. Alright, I can't see anything right now. Let's put some of that back. We'll just set it like that for right now, because I can't grind that side down until the battery charges up. But I was thinking those in there with this little basket, I thought maybe this would provide plenty enough airflow. Well, let's turn it the other way and see what happens. Yeah, there is that option. Yeah. I'm gonna put some wood in there and see if I can get this going. Just a moment. I've had this with all these scraps of wood ever since I was working on that ammo can wood stove, because I was going to use this to start a seasoned burn, and apparently there's water down in there, so it's going to be a little bit. I use that as a cross member. I'm gonna see if I can't make me a decent little fire here. Learn me how to use a wood stove. I've had people tell me I need to learn how to talk and pronounce words. Oh well. Yeah, let me get some tinder up in there. And would you look at that? Broken pieces of twine and a bunch of little scraps from when I was building in the van. So for right now, I'm going to use these broken pieces of twine. That's something that'll burn. And old scratch-off tickets that obviously did not make me rich. Let's get that out the way. There we go. You know what? I'm sitting in a driveway and I don't have a phone holder, tripod with me or whatever. I've got one. It's somewhere in the van, but you know what? I'm so excited about my wood stove, I'm just going to get going. Yeah, let's pull some of this out of here. Because I used some twine to hold the fluffy insulation up in the ceiling of the van while I was putting up the Reflectix. And that was a task in itself. But, alright, let's move any kind of combustibles away from this. I don't know how hot it's going to get, but I'm sure it's going to get a little warm because, I mean, it's going to have a fire in it. And we'll see. Take off. I believe I need to leave it open or just open this all the way. I'm not sure just yet, but you know, it's just a tinder and such. I seen somebody took and put a plate in there under the hole a couple inches and almost all the way forward, but like this far back or so, to make the heat go, the smoke go like that on like some of the stoves that claim to have a dual burn stage, no smoke or whatever. And they said it kept a lot of heat in instead of most of it just going right up and out. So I'm definitely going to look into something like that. And this driveway is full of leaves and dried up sticks and that have fallen out of the trees, like stuff like that right there. Oh, this stuff right here would be perfect. Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. Just throw that in there, don't snuff it out. Hey, maybe this is how I'll get the driveway cleaned up, I don't know. Oh yeah, she went out. Let me get her going again. Then again, it also raises the question, is this going to draft correctly without the flue pipe? Which it didn't come with one, so I'm just going to have to go to a hardware store and get a setup for it. But we'll see if this is going to take off. I'd really like to burn it for a while tonight and sit by the fire and have me a cold beverage. It'll be awful nice. Especially as beautiful of the evenings as we've been having around here lately. It's been real nice, 50s and 60s. So, sure feels like fall. I tell you what, it might warm up again next week, I don't know, but winter's coming, so taking steps. I had a buddy heater in this van for 3 winters. Don't get me wrong, it's a great heater. All you gotta do is leave one of the pop-out windows open and there's no problem. Only thing about it is filling propane all the time, and I ended up with a 40-pound cylinder behind my recliner for it. A friend of mine had one and let me use it for the winter, and I was very grateful for that. And I just want to go a different route with this van. I've got a cheap Chinese diesel heater that I had purchased several years ago for the little van. It didn't work out, but I'm starting to wonder if it may have been the batteries I was using, because most of the codes I was getting were low voltage error codes. So it very well may have been them deep cycle batteries just weren't good enough. Plus I had old tired solar panels and my electrical system wasn't all that great back then. Now I've got lithium batteries and several 200-watt solar panels, and I've got a power system that'll run an air conditioner all night long after cooking and have enough power left over to make coffee in the morning, I'm sure it'll run a diesel heater. So I'm going to take out the old diesel heater and fiddle with it. I went ahead and ordered the new air intake hose for it because the ones that come with them are complete trash. I mean, they're good for one install. You take it out and it just comes apart. Cheap plastic, but hey, what can you expect? $100 for a diesel heater is gonna be not the best thing in the world, but you know, hey, you get what you pay for. Try things, learn to try different things. But it's just a process, a learning process. As I stated, I've been living in vans for years and love the lifestyle, and I've learned a lot along the way. Now I know many of the things that I want and don't want, and I'm starting to, after several years of working and accumulating things, I finally have quite a few of the things I wanted. And just like this, I've been wanting a wood stove for a few years now. Not sponsored, oh well. My videos are not made for kids, so I'm going to have my cold beverage. But I've wanted a wood stove for years, and I really wanted one of those Grizzly models by Cubic Mini. Those things are so nice. Only thing is, the whole setup, install kit, the flue pipe, and all the stuff I was going to need was going to run about $1,500. Hey. I saw this one on Facebook Marketplace last night, had just listed. I messaged the guy, and he messaged me back this morning, and we got to talking back and forth. So I drove an hour and a half to go pick this up. Got it for a pretty good deal. Yeah, it took a little bit out of what I have left to be able to build this van and be living in it before I need to start another job, but this is something I wanted, and it was such a great deal, I was not passing it up. So I have me a wood stove for my van. I don't know if that's going to even matter with a 6-inch hole in the top, but we'll see what happens. And as I said before, it's quite... Where'd my tape measure go? Back in the van. Oh well. I'll put my arm next to it. It's quite a bit larger than I expected or thought it was going to be, but that's totally alright with me, which means it's not going to take as much wood to warm this place up, especially the way I'm insulating it. I mean, I'm insulating it with rock wool insulation in between Reflectix and the roof. I'm doing the same thing to the walls. Wall skin, rock wool insulation, Reflectix, wallboard. The floor is going to be styrofoam insulation, a framework with inch-thick styrofoam insulation. Cover that with Reflectix, and then plywood, and then flooring. So this thing's going to be wrapped all the way around with 2 layers of insulation, which means my heat stays in, but during the summertime my cool stays in. Oh yeah. I think this wood's still moist. I don't know, it ain't rained in several days, so I don't see why it would be, but hey, maybe it's the draft thing, I don't know. Let's get this stuff on the bottom going. I just want to get a real good fire blazing in this thing and just sit here with a beer and watch the fire. Maybe I'll throw some more of this in the bottom of it too. What? I don't have my pocket knife on me? Am I feeling okay? Yeah? Oh, that's not it. I don't know then. See if I can't shove this right there in the middle of it all without knocking the whole thing down. Yep, there we go. Maybe the fire will travel downwards to that string and get going, I don't know. See if we can get some of this stuff down below. Or I'll probably just screw up and put it out, you know, being impatient. Let's see. Tell you what, a butane torch is a good thing to have. Let me gather some more leaves and such. I'll be right back. Alright, she looks like she's starting to take off a little bit. And I got a whole bucket of wood here, so yeah, I'm gonna be here for a minute. Once this actually gets to going really, really well, I'm gonna stack some more of this on it. Seems like a pretty solid piece. I believe I'm gonna enjoy it. I do believe it's gonna burn me out of there. And I've told people all summer long how it's so much easier to live in a van in the wintertime than it is in the summer. And they're all, how do you warm it? How do you heat it? Well, several different ways. Like I said, I gave up on that Chinese diesel heater and just went and bought a Buddy heater. I used that for 3 years, but I don't like the fact that it can't be regulated with a thermostat like a diesel heater or a Propex heater or something like that. So, shoot, I almost choked it out, but she's catching. Now I know this ain't gonna be regulated by a thermostat. I know that. This is just gonna be like for the evenings when it's real cold outside and I want an ambiance or whatever, a nice, relaxing crackle of a fire in the evening, you know. But a diesel heater is definitely gonna be the route I'm gonna go. Even if I can't get this cheap Chinese diesel heater going correctly, there are other options, many other options, and I've been digging and researching, and I believe I found the one I'm going to end up getting. Now if only I could find my stogies. Oh, they was right there next to me. Anyway, I was watching all kinds of videos about diesel heaters and comparisons and all that stuff. Somebody said there was one called HLN, a company, and apparently they put their heaters, or their brand ends up in the tractor trailers, and the dealerships use them in the trucks, or so I understand. I may be wrong, I don't know, but that got my brain to thinking. If these are put in trucks, big rigs, oh, love these stogies. Anyway, if the dealerships are putting them in the trucks, they must be quality. And they go for about $500-600 on Amazon. But I was chatting with somebody directly at the manufacturer, and I think they're the Aeroland Pro 4000. The top model was a few $100, so if this one don't work, that's the one I'm gonna go with. I know that looks weird. I don't care. It makes them burn slower or something. I don't know. So I heard. I've been doing that for freaking 30 years. Anyway. Yeah, fire seems to be pretty much going. I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna like this a lot. And purchasing this today very well may have changed up the way I'm going to lay out the van, because the box is behind the driver's seat that used to house a generator. I was going to take it out, put a counter in there with a sink, and put some water jugs under it and such. But the fact that this one's larger than I expected, I may just go ahead and take that box out and put a heat shield, put a little wall behind the driver's seat with a heat shield, and one against the wall, and put this there in the floor on a stone or something, on some kind of, maybe a metal base that's spaced from the floor for a heat shield. I don't know. But that also means any counter I make is going to have to go on the other side of the van. So we'll see. Different options, different possibilities. But this is going to save me a lot of money on heating. And as I stated before, if I get that diesel heater going, I'll be using that for my primary heating source. This is just going to be for really cold nights or nights where I just want to have a beer by the fire. And you never know, maybe romantic evenings. I don't know. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's pretty much just me. Anyway, I'm going to throw a couple more chunks in here. Give me a second. There we go. I'm going to sit here and enjoy this and enjoy my beverage. I'll be back in a little while with an update or just some other video. Anyway, I hope all is well, and until next time, happy trails.